one. You are live and in charge. Yep.
Arts is a gaming company that focuses on horror systems, indie games, organic content, and player agency to bring a symphonic approach to horror role playing. Hello, I am your keeper, player, and about to go insane person, Skip Morton, and this afternoon we are going alone against the frost. Two quick announcements. Symphony Entertainment has a Patreon. If you like this content and would like to help us create more, please back the Symphony on Patreon. You can check that out at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. Also, we're giving stuff away. That's right. You're going to win a free hardcover copy of Alone Against the Frost. All you need to do, if you haven't done so already, is enter uh, what is that? Exclamation point Frost into the chat. You must be a subscriber to the channel to win, and we're only able to ship to the continental United States. We'll host a giveaway at the end of the stream. Just stay until the end, or if you can't, the lovely, the talented Bridgett will try to reach out to you via Twitch Whisper. We'll track you down. We'll find you. So now, without further ado, put on your parkas, get your snowshoes on. It is time to go alone against the frost with, well, me. All right, so I've got a couple buttons to click here. So once I get the rhythm down, we will be good to go. Okay, so I've been very excited about all this. I've been looking forward to it, and I think the betting pool has started to see how long I can last. Maybe longer than Bridgett. We'll find out. We shall begin. You, Dr. L.C. Nadelman, have long been fascinated by the prehistory of North America, particularly the big woods of the North. The Canadian wilderness remains as unexplored as the Amazon basin, and hunters, trappers, and gold seekers tell hair-raising stories of people in the area. Of course, they also tell tales of terrifying demons and other exotic fantasies. The time is right to bring a rigorous academic perspective to the big woods. The truth hidden there is doubtless more fascinating than any traveler's yarn. For over a year, I have petitioned my department to finance a modest summer exploratory trip into Canada's Northwest Territories. Now, at last, my funding has been approved, and I make my preparations to leave at the end of the spring semester. Many of my graduate students are eager to go, but I'm only going to be able to take 3. I've chosen to explore the valley of the North Hanaha. In the local dialect, Hanaha means the river of magic power. The yarn spinners have worked overtime on the legends of the North Hanaha, and is said to be haunted by invisible presences and bloodthirsty headhunters. A part of the valley where a party of prospectors was found beheaded is still known as the Headsman's Glen. My small expedition will take a train to the north central Canada and then board a chartered launch to the Great Slave Lake and down the Mackenzie to Fort McDonald, where an outpost of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police represents a sole power of civilization amidst many thousands of square miles of mountains, lakes, and swamps. Fort McDonald is a trading post for trappers and natives. The best route into the valley of the North Hanaha is upstream by canoe, following the west branch of the Mackenzie. To the mouth of the tributary I seek. A single bark canoe of excellent make has been reserved for me, as well as all the basic gear that guarantees that all my summer trip requires. Officials tell me that the guides are reluctant to venture into the North Hanaha, and the local peoples have shunned the region, and the most of the white men who dared still trespass upon the river of magic power never return. Still, I locate a tough professional guy named Charlie Foxtail She narrows her eyes upon hearing of your destruction, but persuaded by the high wages I'm offering, finally, it's all ready to go. All right, chat. So I'm going to be calling upon you to make decisions for me. So I'm leaving my fate in your hands. Remember that. Let's get started. To begin the adventure, go to number 1. After a few days on the west branch of the Mackenzie, the stuffy quarters of Miskatonic University seem very far away. Sun stifles the water from the glare of the midday to the gentle burn of the sunset. Caribou gaze at you from the shore ahead of a heron drags an unfortunate stickleback from the shallows. It would feel like a vacation were it not for the relentless demand of the paddle. Each day makes the students more adept at keeping time with you and Charlie. My supply of gasoline is limited, so I'll run the outboard motor as seldom as possible. Sun and wind grant Bernard the outdoor complexion he desires. Locate a tributary one evening, just as the light begins to fail. The next day, I'll launch into the North Hanaha. The Ram Mountains loom in the distance through a heat haze. At this latitude, the summer nights are so short that darkness gives the waterways no time to cool. Norman wipes sweat from the back of his head. The North Hanaha is the rougher river than the West Branch. Its floodplain is obstructed by sandbars, hills of driftwood, shingle islands, and forests of dead trees rooted in the mud. The current points all of them downstream like arrows, warning you to turn back. Sylvia turns to my guide. Charlie, does your people live in this area? Charlie grunts and watches the water. For a moment, it seems she will not answer. Then she looks at Sylvia. At one time, now only outcasts. We will avoid them. Sylvia frowns. Why are they? But Charlie raises a hand. From ahead, slowly building, you hear a roar of rushing water. This is the place of the spitting water. Here the river is alive. Each day it makes itself new. All right, so get to make my first dice roll. I'm going to make a luck roll. If I succeed, I'm going to go to number 2. And if I fail, I'm going to go to number 3. So let's do the first dice roll here. 62, and my lovely character sheet says I have 85 luck, so I make it. So we'll go to number 2. The expedition spends the day working through a baffling network of waterways. Sometimes we're forced back down the impassable channels to find an easier way. Sometimes we blunder across the heads of powerful chutes and are swept along with them. At certain points, our party has to wade in waist-deep water, inching the craft along by hand. We pass labyrinths of wooded islands, fast waters, and drift. We finally select a peaceful backwater in which to moor and make camp for the night. And now we're going to roll a d10. And if the result is even, we're going to go to number 4. And if it's odd, it's going to go to number 5. So let's just roll a d10 here. It's 3. So we're going to go with odd. Go to number 5. Your first night along the North Hanaha passes without mishap. Now you must now decide whether to press on hard to penetrate deep into the region or set a more leisurely pace, exploring as you go. So we can either do the leisurely pace or press on hard. Chat, what do you want me to do? All right. Booch says deeper into the region, so that's where we're going to go. So we're going to number 10. At dawn, we set off again. The day turns into a scorcher. Rocks in the streams are hot to the touch. There is beauty, though, underneath the shimmering heat, too. The wet sands by the water's edge are hidden under a vibrating carpet of blue, a host of small azure butterflies basking in the warmth. Pausing for a moment from our canoe, we scan the shores for any sign of life. Catch a flash of someone standing by the river shore, half hidden by a bushy juniper. Before we can adjust our binoculars, the stranger is out of sight. So we can either paddle to the shore and investigate or continue to our camp. What would you prefer me to do? Looks like investigate is going to be. Thank you, Chad. So if we investigate, we're going to number 18. When I turn the canoe towards the shore, Charlie grabs my arm. Professor, my people avoid this valley. It's under a curse. Do not chase the devils who inhabit it. It's not the first time I've heard such a superstition from the guide, but there's an urgency to Charlie's words that unsettles me. To follow her advice, we'll go to number 20. To enter the valley, we'll roll a d10. If the result is even, we go to one location. If it's odd, we go to another. Do you want me to follow the advice or roll? Yes, we're going to follow. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so let's see. We're going to roll a d10. So let me pull up my roller here, and we will get that done. Get rid of that. Looks like odd's the way to go. So let's see. Odd, we're going to number 499. That does not sound promising. Let's see. 499. There we go. Beside a bush, a tiny man lies wounded, with a hole in him the size of a shotgun slug. He is, incredibly, still alive. When I approach, he tries to crawl away. I try a simple phrase in the dialect of the closest known nation, but the little creature only hisses. He's an amazing specimen, strange gray skin, exaggerated features, odd proportions in his hands, and prehensile feet. If he is not unique, his race departs more from the statistical norm than any that I have ever studied. His species may not even be human. I lay my blankets over him and try to spoon him broth. He refuses to eat, lapses into unconsciousness, and, by dawn, dies. All through this, Charlie acts like an agitated tigress. It was a pook-woogie, she mutters when you press her, an evil little one of the night. If there is one, there will be more. We must leave this valley. So we can either argue with Charlie or bury the dead man in accordance with her wishes and return downriver. Which would you prefer me to do? Hmm. Argue or bury? Yes, I love the name Poop Woogie. Okay, bury it is. Thank you, Chad. So to bury, we go to 165. If my keyboard will allow. 165. All right. Hardest part of this is just navigating on the PDF, but that's just my computer. There we go. 165. Well, okay. There we go. On so treacherous a river, our party cannot afford many mistakes. We must work together. So what I get to do now is make a pilot boat roll for each party member. If at least 3 rolls succeed, I'll go to 513. Otherwise, I go to 156. So Let me pull up my dice roller. So we're looking for pilot boat. And get rid of that. All right. So it looks like got one. My pilot boat skill, in case you're playing along at home, is actually 60. So I took some skill into it. So 21 succeeds. A 1 definitely succeeds. And a 12 succeeds. So we are good. All right. So now we'll go to 513. So far, so good. Made a luck roll and made a pilot boat roll. I think this is the first character I've ever had that I've put pilot boat in. So, all right, 516. You dart from a dark corner to dark corner and break. That's not right. Yeah, that's what it is. 516. Did we mention the dark cave earlier? Or am I just imagining things? 513. Thank you. Thank you, chat. I love you guys. Okay, it's time to decide the course of my expedition. Fort McDonald lies within my reach, and I can go there to end the experience into North Hanahan. If you have an appetite for exploration, you may take a short side trip or even strike back out into the depths of the valley. So to return to Fort McDonald, I'll go to 593. I'll take a side trip to 594. Or since I have all my party members, I can go back into the wilds. Which one would you prefer? All right, let's see. We've got a couple of side trips back into the wild, back into the wild. Looks like we got more side than wild. So let's go to the side trip. Thank you. So we're going to go to 594. There we go. Do, 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 do. Of course, I must return to Fort McDonald, but there is time for one side trip in hopes of learning a little bit more about the North Hanaha Valley. If I have all my companions, which I do, I'm going to go to number 602. Okay, so let's go on down to 602. When I announce the plan, Charlie looks at me like I've lost my mind. As she draws herself up, it is foolish to return to that evil place. I will not go. To give up the idea and return to civilization, go to 593. To remind Charlie who pays her trip when it's over, goes to 603. I think I'm going to 603. Okay. I think that one was a no brainer. All right, your threat obviously impressed Charlie. Rather than end up with nothing for this trip, she sneaks off during a watch at night, taking the canoe and has shared the supplies as settlement for her efforts. You can see from the eyes of your students that they are also uncertain about my plan. Uh-oh. All right, so the decision now is to strike out upriver with no guide, to take to Circasitius, I can never pronounce that word, route, back to the fort, keeping the eye peeled for new discoveries, or to accept the situation and return directly to the fort. I can do that. What should I do? Yeah. Gotta take the money and run. Go without a guide, leaning fort. Hmm. Go without a guide. Okay, we're going out without a guide. All right, Chad. So if we go without a guide, we're going to go right down to 604. Okay. We contemplate possible routes with our students. I don't think I even introduced my students. I'm going to take a moment and do that. That's one thing I did forget to do. So a couple of students that we do have, which are the NPCs that go along with the adventure here. We have, first of all, Sylvia Davidson, who's a graduate student out of Boston, Massachusetts. We also have Norman Faulkner, also a graduate student. He is from Arkham, Massachusetts himself. We also have, well, Charlie has left, so we don't have to worry about Charlie anymore. And we have Bernard Epstein. He is actually from New York City. He's a graduate student as well. So those are the three companions I have still with me. That is, it's going to go and hopefully survive like I'm going to do. Right? Right. Okay. So if we have the keyword in shape, which we do not, I don't think, so we'll skip that one. To explore a nearby canyon, we could do that. We can follow the river. We can use the mountains as a landmark, or we can gain elevation where we can, or we can explore the deep woods. So we have the canyon, the river, the mountains. We can do some climbing or the woods. What would y'all think we need to do in this case? Okay, got one vote for elevation. Climb score. Let's take a look. It's base 20. Okay, so I've got a couple of elevations here. So I think we're going to try elevation. Let's just see how far we get with this. All right, so if we're going elevation, we're going to number 552. So let me write that down. And then we'll scoot up here. This is really fun, y'all. The hardest part is just navigating all the numbers. But other than that, okay. All right, so I paused to get my bearings, and I need to go to 553, which is right below. Okay. Forced uphill by the slows along the riverside, uh, the four of us laboriously hack through the brambles and thicket. As our group passes close to the lip of the slope, Bernard catches your elbow. Look there, Professor, he says. From your lofty perspective, you gaze down. And we get the keyword tangent. Rank a note of that. And now we'll go to number 448. Okay. 448. Where are you? Okay. So we got the keyword tangent now. We're going to go to 448. Okay. Astonishing. Who would ever expected to see such a thing in this primitive land? It's a gigantic circle, over 200 feet in circumference, made of boulders and huge slabs of limestone, placed with great engineering skill to form a wheel. From the center of the wheel, 28 stone spokes radiate in precision to a well-defined perimeter. At the end of the structure is what appears to be a small ceremonial building shaped like a beehive. Our dizziness increases as we slide down the slope and cross the outer rings of the stones. Begin hearing a ringing in our ears and a roll like the crash of distant waves, like the strike of a mighty thunderbolt upon echoing mountainsides. Sylvia grips my arm. Professor, don't go in there. She looks like she might vomit. Sylvia, that way. To leave our faint-hearted party behind and go inside the little building, we could do that. We can head back the way we came. What do you think? Yep. Okay. Check out the beehive. Yep. All right. We're going in. So we're going to go right down to 449. Fascinated, we shake off Sylvia and approach the little building. 3 of its sides feature a narrow arched door. Stepping inside, my head begins to swim from the aura of the place. I feel an incredible mental surge as a tide of towering perceptions penetrates the tiny confines of my skull. Ooh, I get to make both a sanity and a power roll. Well, this will be good. Okay, let me pull up my roller here. All right, so we'll do sanity first. Right now, my sanity sits at 80. It's probably going to change here momentarily. So a 13 on that passes. And my power is also 80 at this point. So we'll roll that. And we barely squeak by on that. So we make both of them. Okay. If I fail the sanity roll, we don't lose any. Doesn't look like we lose anything. And I passed them both. So now we go to number 450. The phenomenon is incredible, as it is as you. So let me start that again. It is as if you stand in a high window from which you see the crashing waves of past, present, and future all breaking upon one another. Below all the chaos, there are streams of sense, of real information. As I stand reeling, I try to attune myself to these streams and let the knowledge fill my tormented mind. And then I see ancient days, this place, a race of tall, lean, gray skinned, cruel faced men. They are not of the first peoples. They are older, terribly old. They have a name Kiwanama. Their spirit is upon the land. They rule from antiquity. The continent is theirs. They defend it with mighty magic, awesome powers. The ships of Atlantis burn. The host of Mu cannot gain no foothold. The world has 3 powers, and the Kiwanama are not the least. O evil, dark is the night of the sway of the Kiwanama. They have gods. They sacrifice all for gods. Rabathoth, Yog-Sothoth, Zathog, Shabdigaroth, names from nightmares. To each built a temple, and great heart of the domain, a temple like a wheel of stone, a temple like the great wind walker Ithaqa. Iyaya, Iyaya, Nayaya, Haya. Okay. So I now gain 5 points of Cthulhu mythos. That's always good. And if I wish to stay and learn more, I'll make a sanity roll and then a power roll with a penalty die. Or I can leave. What do y'all think? Stay, learn more. Okay. All right, chat. I'm staying because it's me. All right, so I need to make a sanity roll and a power roll with a penalty die. So let's make the sanity. Looks like I can do that one normally. So let me try that. Sanity will be 95. Okay, there we go. B to B to maybe that's all, folks. And then I will make a power roll with a penalty die. So I'll roll that. 66, and then I'll roll the penalty die. So it'll be 66. So that actually passes. So let's see what happens here. If you fail the sanity roll, lose 1d6. So let me do that. 1d6. 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And let's see. I made the power roll, so I'm good there. So I'll just go down to 451. As I stand before the roaring currents of time and space, my mind drinks in greater and more terrible truths. The Kiwanama, like fiends they are seen, unbearable holocausts of evil. Souls are but sparks to feed the roaring gods and cunning sorcerers. Bodies blasted, souls torn, breathtaking curses laid on generations. Fury, fury against those who stand upon their continents as tall as the Kiwanama is tall. Men must die. Civilizations must die. The rocks they stand upon will shatter. Hatred without end. The temples filled with blood. Souls hurtle screaming through the gateways to the elder ones. Offsprings without end. The Kiwanama prosper. The gods are pleased. Their power surges forth. Headlands break. Continents crash into the sea. Every element turns upon Atlantis, upon Mu. Through the Kiwanama's curse takes an eon to work. Its progress is relentless. Mu and Atlantis are no more. There is only Kiwanama and his thirsting gods. Okay, I gain 6 more points of Cthulhu Mythos. If you now stagger from the temple back to my group, I can do that. If I wish to stay and learn more, I can make a sanity and a hard power roll. Chad, what am I doing? You want me to stay and learn more? Oh, no, Lynn says it's time to go. Let's see. Uh, hmm. I think I'm going to stay and learn more. I got to learn more. I want to know what happens. Plus, I like reading all this. All right, so I've gained my 6 points of Cthulhu Mythos. So I'm going to have to make a sanity roll and then a hard power roll. So let's see. We'll make the sanity roll first. Now it's a little bit lower. All right, let's get rid of that. Sanity roll. That is a fail. And then a hard power roll. So I'm looking for a 40 or less. I did make that. All right. So if I fail the sanity roll, I'll lose another d6. I have a feeling that things are about to go a tad bit more askew. So let's see. Roll. That's 12. Yep. Okay. All right. So, all right. Otherwise, go to 452. Now, here's a question. Do I go temporarily insane in these things too? I wasn't prepared for that. I guess I should have been, but it does not specify. Thank you, Bridgett. Okay. So, all right. Knowledge of the ancient events floods my fragile mind. Glee in Kiwanamia. Kiwanamia alone stands. Their enemies are destroyed. Through Kiwanamia is impoverished by the efforts. Though the Kiwanamia themselves are stunned by their spells, their foes are lifeless, buried beneath the heartless sea. Magic ceaseless. Every Kiwanama is a sorcerer, a magic that corrupts, magic that blackens, withers, the cold, the ice, unrelenting. A sick, Stunted people cannot withstand the spread of the glaciers, nor the people of the ice springs. The Inuits, sterility, glaciers, cities ground to the dust, weakness without end, cold, death. Now new people come from the south. Slaughter. Ithaca demands. Ithaca makes his summons. Windwalker, hearts of ice, runners on the wind. You coming here? Yeah, that's what it told me to say. Okay. So I'll gain 7 more points of Cthulhu Mythos. Okay. If I try to tear myself away and rejoin the group, I could do that. If I do not fear to learn more, I'll make an insanity roll and an extreme power roll. Um, what am I doing, y'all? My Cthulhu Mythos is up to 6, 12, round 17. Definitely time to run away. I'd walk for it. Yep. Okay. Probably a good call. All right. Here we go. All right. So if I try to tear myself away, and I'm going to read at 532. So that's where we're going. Let me make a quick note of that in case I lose my place. 532. I hope y'all are having fun. I'm loving doing this. Okay. 532. The party hurries from the giant wheel and hastens back to the riverside. Okay, I don't have the keyword barefoot. Um, we'll go to number 424. Okay. Nope, wait a minute. I haven't lost. Okay. I'm just trying to, because it's kind of written kind of weird here. If you do not have that keyword, go to 20 if your party still has 5 members, or 163 if it has. Okay, so I got to go to 163. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. All right, so going to 162. That's where we are now. Um, I seem physically unhurt, but my thoughts are hard to focus. The images that do come from are bizarre and startling, as though my own mind has become a stranger to me. There are new cravings, instincts, and drives I cannot yet sort out, but I know there's a hunger, an all consuming need to gorge myself on something. Uh oh. Beneath my feet, you see a thick carpet of moss. I kneel, tear up a huge clout, and stuff it into my mouth. It takes off the edge of my torment, but I crave a different food. I stalk off into the cool, beckoning woods. 215. All right. I look up and behold an awesome shape. It is he whom you know as your master. You hear his name in my mind, the great wind walker, Ithaca. He is immense. He fills the heavens. My God. I hear his dark call in my soul and run towards him. Ithaca races ahead across the snowy ground. For an anguished moment, I fear I will lose him, but his aura fills me with strength and quickens my legs. As I bound in ever greater arcs, I run along with him. Finally, Ithaca takes a bound so great that he does not come down. I spring into the air and join him, racing free on the stream of ether left behind. The friction of my journey through the sky is tremendous. My old feet begin to burn and peel away. Its icy weight forms in my breast, and I cry out. Suddenly, Great Windwalker's presence is gone. I plummet out of the sky, through the layers of ether breaking through branches of spruce, fir, and tamarack. I strike the earth hard, but rise unhurt. I peer at my feet. They have been transformed. What was human about them has been burned away, leaving only corroded, black, stump-like hooves. Ithaca has blessed me with feet better suited to follow him above the treetops. I know this is only the beginning, and that each time I fly with the great windwalker, more of my human form will mutate. Finally, no portion of the old will remain. Oblivious to time and distance, I wander through the forest. It is now my home, the forest that fills every particle with you, with the ancient spirits. My craving returns, a hunger that leaves me along the famished beasts on a leash. I see a campfire burning ahead. Only now do I fully realize the hideous repast I crave. Some small part of me, which is still human, revolts against my new hunger. Okay, I have to attempt a hard power roll now. So we'll give it a shot, see what happens. For some reason, I have lost my dice roller. Hold on a second. My dice roller disappeared. There it goes. Okay, so hard power roll. I failed. So I go down to now 267. Okay. This encounter means death. The human core of me longs for my own extinction, but the drive that Ithaca has bestowed upon me is stronger, and it yearns for death of others. I rush into the heart of a camp like a bobcat springing onto a covey of quail. The hunters howl with terror and flee in all directions. Only one has the courage to stand for a few seconds, fires around at me. The force of it knocks me off my feet. I can feel the painless gouge rip clear through my belly, but unharmed, I rise again. The heroic hunter joins his fellows in flight. The hunters, bleeding with terror, scattered through the forests. The memory of my human life blinks out forever. I crave human flesh, and Ithaca endows me with power to obtain it. I cry at the stars. I start to walk, and my pace quickens into a run. I sense the warm, flowing blood of the fleeing man, and I follow it. Soon I reach the edge of the ravine, and I hear breathing below. One hunter has fallen and broken his ankle. Desperate, he throws a rock at me. I easily glide through the air and in the bottom and float towards him. I, he cries out as my ice claws close about his throat, and as my frigid breath turns his face black. My freezing fangs seek into his warm flesh. Soon I will eat again and continue my metamorphosis. Such is the curse of Ithaca, the way of the Windwalker. The Nailman expedition is over. The end. And that, friends of the Symphony, is where the adventure ends for tonight. Thank you so much for everyone who has joined in and is currently watching the replay. You indeed are the best part of waking up, and we all sincerely appreciate you. All right, so time to give away this Alone Against the Frost. And let me pull back where I was. There we are. And I believe Bridgett is going to be running this, so Lynn, congratulations. you have won a copy of what I just went through, Alone Against the Frost. Again, if you enjoyed this content, please consider helping the Symphony make more by backing us on Patreon at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. We've hoped you enjoyed the Symphony, and we look forward to seeing you again. Ladies, gentlemen, everybody, thank you again for joining me. This has been absolutely a pleasure. Have a wonderful night.